2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code Hawkeye and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matters more than ever. Place your money line, prop, and parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. BetMGM.com for T's and C's. 21 plus to wager. Iowa only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Down on our knees, and we asked her to marry us, and she said no. We feel awful. Yeah. You know, do you want to lose, David? No. Nobody wants to win. Everybody wants to win. I want players that hate to lose. Plain and simple. I want players that I know when the game is over, they are crawling into the locker room. They need help getting their gear off. And it's going to take them time to get in the shower. I want the buses to be late to the airport if we travel. We all handle defeat differently, and it's hard.
I'm a sore loser.
Good to say I'm a sore loser.
Oh my goodness, folks. We're here. It's the C3 Saints at Panthers post-game show. After a heartbreaking loss where the Carolina Panthers fall 12-9, and honestly, the best defensive performance probably since 2015, and failed to capitalize because Cameron Newton has not been our super cam the last couple of weeks. It's clear there's injuries at bay, but boy, it was hard to watch as he could barely throw the ball down the field at all. But we're here to kind of try to sort through it. My name's Tony Dunn. I'm the host of the C3 Panthers podcast. We're live on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m., and you can call in and be a part of the show using the Cat Calls line. The number's 252-228-5098, and I'm here to chop it up, guys, and react with y'all to the 6th straight Panthers loss. I'm so sick of playing this music, Cody.
We might just need to stop and celebrate draft picks and play some celebratory music, man. Yeah, it's a heartbreaker, man. Our defense played well, the best they've played all year, I would say. But Cam Newton's hurt, man. His hurt. And the fact that he didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday, why did anyone think that we even had a chance to be victorious? I mean, there was no chance from the jump. I mean,
Well, we did.
Cam,
We did. Our defense was kept us in this game
right,
and alive.
our defense, but Cam was not on the same page with the offense all night. I mean, they didn't even want to throw the ball further than 10 yards. It's all bad, man.
Yeah. We got Josh from Mass here to help us sort through this. Tough loss there, Josh.
Oh yeah, no, it's a lot of what we've all been saying for the last few weeks. The O-line did not look good at all. They just didn't even show up, it seemed. Cam had DBs and linemen in his face all night, every play. And then you combine that with the fact that it was pretty obvious, especially on that first touchdown. His shoulder's just not there. It's just not.
Why is he playing, honestly? If he can't, I mean, and I understand this, I get the whole notion that a 60% Cam Newton is better than 100% Taylor Heineke. I understand that. But at the end of the day, if he can't really do what is necessary, what is there to gain, Cody, out of having him on the field?
Ron Rivera trying to save his ass. I mean, that's all I can gather at this point. I mean, I really don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. And I feel like Cam Newton won't save himself because he's too much of a competitor, man. He wants to be out on the field. He wants to make the throw that wins the football game. But if he's not capable of doing that and just putting more damage on his shoulder and the offensive line just letting him get obliterated, then, yeah, man, every time that we put him out there from here forward, we are jeopardizing his future in the NFL. I mean, period. I mean, we are jeopardizing his long-term health for a meaningless season.
Where was this defense all year, Josh?
You're asking me. That's all I could think all night. Where has this defense been, especially in all these games? How many games did we lose by a score or less? How many times would a defense
been like
this?
I feel like it's been we've lost 6 games now, and we've only lost 1. No, we've lost how many? 8 games now, but we've lost 6 in a row. But the Steelers game was the only blowout. I would say we've probably lost 6 games by 1 score or less.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if this defense shows up for even one drive of any of those games, it's a whole different turnout for that game and possibly the season, really. And you really got to wonder if Ron calling the defense and being in charge of the defense is this kind of difference. I mean, man, nobody wants to say, "Oh, well, let's demote Ron to DC," because that'll never fly. Let's be real; it never will.
Right.
But damn, does it sound like a good option after what we saw tonight? That defense was stout. I mean, we went up and held, not even arguably, one of the best offenses in the NFL to 12 points. That's
well, yeah. Is that here? Is we don't even really have. Yeah, we don't have to even think. I mean, about. Well, what I would say is that it probably just it shows how, unfortunately, because I hate to be a guy that just wants to kick a dude when he's down, but Ron Rivera probably waited 3 or 4 weeks too late to take over the defense. And if you heard the clip and if that they were playing the audio from the game, Cody, it sounds like Luke Dunn took over the defense. Luke told the guys, and when they had him mic'd up, he said, "Just listen to me. I got a feel for these guys." Like, I felt like I was just about to take the play card away from Ron and give it to Luke.
He dropped the F-bomb, too. He was mic'd up. And there was one play, and he was like, fucking come on, dude. He was so pissed off. But listen, man, Luke Kuechly, listen, to everyone that's been saying that Luke Kuechly hasn't been playing how he has in the past, well, there you go. He's still Luke, still number 59, still Captain America. Yeah, man, but listen, and if you notice, we even though our defense played, pretty well, we still had no pass rush. We had
Zero.
sacks.
And they weren't until late in the game.
Yeah, we had 2 sacks. One of them was Munderland, and the other one was like a combination of Butler and K1 Short. We have no pass rush. Imagine what this defense would be if we had 2 pass rushers on both ends that could get to the quarterback. It's bad, dude.
I do need to step in before Brother Herbert gets in here and chastises us. And say this is that Cam Newton, while the defense, while Josh said the defense, if they would have made a stop or 2 in those 6 games, think of where we'd be. Similarly, if Cam Newton would have won us a game at the end, 1 or 2 of those games at the end, and then you change that with the defense, and now look at the end right now is Cam can barely throw the ball. And if Booger McFarland says he's an upper body thrower again, and this is why he can't complete the passes, I'm going to go down there and wring his neck on that little dang scooter he rides around the damn place.
McFarland and Jason Witten were just shitting on Cam all night, dude. I wanted to lose my fucking mind, dude.
But Cam certainly, is tonight he didn't look good. He didn't play well, no. A, and B, it looked physically like it was a physical problem as well, right? In the past, we've seen him. He's had opportunities to win the game for us this year, and he just hasn't done it. And so really it's just tough. It's tough to figure out. It's tough to figure out, too, when that defense, Josh, plays like that have they actually been better than they've been playing, and what has been holding them back? I mean, obviously, other than what Cody's saying with the pass rush.
Well, I think it comes down to scheme, and I think it also comes down to, you figure your defensive coordinator during the week, he's the guy who runs your defensive side of your practice. So I think Ron taking over the defense is a little deeper than we've all been led to believe, like it's just play calling. I think it actually runs a lot deeper, where he's now taking full charge of the defensive side of practice altogether, because the level of effort, the tackling, it was all leagues better than what we've seen all year, hands down.
Night and day. It was night and day.
Yeah, it's like somebody flipped a damn switch on, like, oh, here it is. You got Luke Kuechly and Julius Peppers and all these guys. And Bradbury had some great breakups tonight. And I mean, do we really – it goes without saying. Dante Jackson.
Yeah, say that.
My God.
Say that.
If he would have kept his hand off that shoulder, that was an uncatchable ball, A. I think Ron was right with that.
That was a bad call. That was fundamentals of DB. His hands on the back, head turned.
He had a little bit. He had a little bit right there.
All right. Well,
let them play, man. It's for the. I mean, dude, they're playing for so much right now. The Panthers are fighting to stay alive. The Saints are playing for home field advantage. Let them play, man. The referees were trash.
Well, they were trash because they let them play on some plays, and then they didn't on others. There was a helmet-to-helmet on DJ Moore early in the game. Nobody's calling that. I did like this, I liked that the Panthers found a way to get under the Saints' skin. If you think about what the Saints season has been right now and where the Panthers are at, we got in their minds tonight on defense. And finally, we grew a damn pair. That's what I'm saying. It's like we got all these big men out there, and it's sad to see them play like a bunch of sissies at times. But tonight they came out like Panthers, that defense that we're used to seeing. Hard hitting, make you pay, opportunistic at times. If we had a pass rush, Cody, if we had a pass rush.
If we had a pass rush, and if Ron Rivera had any semblance of using timeouts, of knowing how to challenge on a fourth down stop, it's the same shit from Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera doesn't get any better. You know, this reminds me of I don't even remember the guy's name, but the head coach that they fired from Indianapolis that had been underservicing Andrew Luck. It was the same thing there. It's the same thing here. Ron Rivera has brought this team as far as it can go. The defense played well tonight. I'll give him that. But, I mean, too little, too late, man. And he does not know how to manage the time. And it's been a problem ever since he's been here.
Is there any worry, though, for you guys that, is that Ron Rivera should have called that timeout early in that first half, and Cam Newton comes up celebrating the first down. It was a remarkable play by Cam. But is there any – what I'm starting to think this is that those criticisms about Ron Rivera, the clock management, have a trickle-down effect. And they have not trickled down to Cam Newton enough to also create a sense of urgency. I feel like the coaching staff should be coaching when to turn it on, when to go, and be in his ear. And so I do think this is that Ron Rivera again shows, look, he kind of at the end, at least Witten was pointing out that he probably took a timeout when he shouldn't have. There was earlier when he didn't take a timeout right away and like 8 seconds ran off the clock. But Cam Newton should be better in these situations. And while I think that's kind of Ron Rivera not being the disciplinary, like knowing exactly what to do all the time in that situation, I think it shows with Cam's lack of urgency at times.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I got
Josh.
a little agitated when Cam pops up off of that late in the game, and he's, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? You've got.
We've lost 5 in a row. We've lost 5 in a row.
What are you doing?
It's like Jameis Winston eating W's.
And I get it, and it's the same reason he's still playing hurt, because Cam is the mojo of this team.
Yeah.
And it goes back to 2015, and you know, everybody's thank God they stopped Davin. But that's the biggest thing that team had that no other team before and no team since has had, is that mojo, that intangible, the sauce, that drip that they're all talking about this year. It was this magical fairy dust, I guess you could say, the Cam Newton fairy dust that was on everything and on every play. And it's just not there. And he keeps trying to light it up, and you can't blame him. You can't blame him because, you know, there's all these people there. You know, you got a stadium packed full of people. They came to see a show, but, man, you got to know when to show it and when to just head down, storm forward. We're here to win this game because we've got a chance. We've got time. And instead, we got egg on our face. Again, 6 times in a row. Egg on our face.
I think agreed. 6 times in a row. It's tough. We're about to take a break and get into the cat calls. The number's 252-228-5098. You can be a part of the longest running Panthers podcast. We encourage you to call in, and we want to give a shout out to all the people in the chat room right now. Look, there's 55 people watching right now. There's 11 thumbs up. Let's double that right now and get this show pumping right now, because 6 losses and we got to stick together. Ples, welcome to the show. Terrence Murray, thank you for tuning in. John Canaglario. Good gosh, you're going to test my Italian roots right there with that last name. We appreciate you being a part of the chat. Share the show, like us on Facebook, and check us out on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Let's go ahead and jump into the first cat call of the night and see what people are saying.
Hey, what's up? What's up, CP3 podcast? This is G. Cavassier.
Hey, man, just finished watching the game. Damn, we played our fucking hearts out in that damn game, man. Defense, we played our damn hearts out, man. Unfortunately, we daggone lost. So we're not going to the playoffs. I mean, we got 2 other games. Unless it's some damn miracle that we do, I do not see us going to the playoffs. And I really thought we was going to win tonight. I really did. But honestly, once DJ Moore fumbled that damn ball, I think he's going to lose this damn game, man. I just had a feeling, man. I just had a feeling the minute he fumbled it, and I thought he would learn his lesson from the Redskins game. You know what I'm saying? But once he fumbled, I was like, yeah, we're going to lose this game. And before halftime, I think we should have ran the ball a little bit more, got field goal range, kicked the damn field goal instead of trying to pass into the damn Devin Funches and got it intercepted, But, I'm proud of the way my boys
Bad
played.
throw by Cam
lost,
there.
man. Even though we lost. So I'm still a diehard Panthers fan, and always remember, keep pounding.
Let's talk quickly, Josh, about that fumble by DJ Moore. Is that a buddy of mine, Mario Marcioni, he sent me a tweet and he said this: when Cam threw that interception in the end zone going into the half, and that ball was short. It was as short as Captain Munderland sitting courtside at a Hornets game. And this guy, and that look is that people are like, oh, Devin Funches didn't win the route. No, Cam didn't have enough arm to get it up there. Right. I mean, you could see he gave it as much as he could. So he said this in that tweet. He said that throw pretty much sums up our last 5 weeks or 6 weeks. And then I felt like when DJ Moore broke that, bounced in around like a pinball up the middle, and you're sitting there going, we're about to win this damn game. And then he fumbles it. I was like, that is exactly the story of our season.
100%, dude.
Exactly my thoughts. Watching the game over at the bar across the street, and I'm like, here it is. Here we go. This is the play. We busted open, and the offense gets momentum. The crowd gets louder. It becomes a challenging atmosphere. And then not even 2 seconds later, I didn't even get to finish taking a swig out of my beer, and there's DJ Moore on the ground, and there goes the ball over there somewhere. I'm like, are you kidding, man? Are you kidding? Like, is this not something that they've worked on with you since that Redskins game? And some of the other situations, his hands have been kind of a liability for us this year. It's been covered up the last couple games because it hasn't just popped up. But he's the guy that I'm sure every defense that we're lining up against is going, swat the ball. Don't worry so much about the tackle. Knock the ball out of his hands. And, they're not wrong. That's as a defensive coach, that's the things you tell your guys. You look at the film and you go, well, this guy's kind of got butterfingers. And, and the throw to Funches, another foot higher in the air. And that's a ball that isn't even contested. He's got that ball because of the height of no question.
But maybe with Devin, Devin's been so inconsistent. You hope that
speaking of butterfingers.
Yeah, and another thing is, everyone gets on Cam Newton for overthrowing the football. I mean, that's how you know when it's a problem. I mean, he's underthrowing the football. I mean, right to the end zone. I mean, it wasn't even that wasn't even a 20-yard pass. I don't think it was. So. Yeah, man, Cam Newton's hurt. And I'm telling you, every single snap that he plays has the potential to be bad for the rest of his career, man. Listen, can everyone keep in mind for a minute that Andrew Luck and Cam Newton had the same surgery, and Andrew Luck missed an entire
I think Andrew Luck's was a full tear. I think Andrew Luck's was more serious. Cam's was partial tear.
Yeah.
I mean, even still, if you know that he has that much of a problem at this point in the season, you're doing a disservice to the man, trotting him out on the field. And another thing, why is the head coaches, why do they feel confident in Cam Newton's ability for him to be able to move the ball when he didn't even practice? He didn't practice on a Wednesday or Thursday. So he's not on a rhythm with the receivers. I mean, they're not even calling plays where there's any pass over 15 yards, if that.
Yeah, the one touchdown pass of the game wasn't even thrown by Cam.
Yeah, Christian
Oh my
McCaffrey.
God! Oh, don't say that,
dude. CMC, man.
Speaking of that pass, who is? I like this Martinez guy. This Martinez guy that he threw it to. Did you catch the announcer said touchdown pass to Martinez, and I was like,
yeah, I know.
Who the hell is Martinez?
Dude, they're so bad, man.
I love this guy.
I heard that, and I'm like, did we pick somebody up this week? What's going on here?
Yeah, that's how I felt right there as well. So, look, you can be a part of the show calling in my 252-228-5098. Follow us on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. Let's go to the next call and see what they got to say.
Hey, this is DJ and Raleigh. Tough loss, but I saw some things that I liked. Defense actually showed up today. This is the first time pretty much all season I've been impressed by our defense. They played tough. They hung in with this high-powered Saints offense all night. Luke was paying his ass off. But on the other side of the ball, Cam is obviously hurt.
It's clear.
And he couldn't do the things that he normally could do. People weren't getting open. We played good, but just not good enough to beat the Saints. I think we hang Cam up for the rest of the season, let Heineke get some snaps the last two games, because there's no point of putting Cam out there the last two games for no playoffs. There's no point. Just let him rest, put Heineke out there for the rest of the year, let him get some snaps. That's why I always keep pounding. Tough loss, but it is what it is. Love the podcast. Always and forever, Panther Nation.
Look, you could hear the disappointment right there at the end of that call, and that is the truth, is that in a game that we thought that the Carolina Panthers, to be honest, is that we shouldn't have had a shot to win this game. I went back and watched the Bucs Saints game last week, and the Bucs straight brought it. Their defensive line was just eaten, man. They were all over it all day long. They missed 2 field goals, and I was looking at that, and I was like, how the hell are we going to beat this team? And we ain't got no pass rush. I did not think that we were going to be able to hold the Saints. If we were going to be close at the end, it would be a 12-9 ball game. But it was, and Cam Newton is clearly hurt because he was throwing, Cody, he threw about 8 balls about five yards short. And you could tell he was laboring.
They're not even calling plays that have him moving the ball at all. It's like, I was watching the game, and when they fumbled the ball through the end zone and it's a touchback, I had zero confidence that we were going to drive the ball down the field and put it in the end zone, because you have to be able to stretch the field. I mean, we're not even trying to do that. You're not going to run the ball on them. And if you notice, even when they're throwing the ball, it's all these in routes to the center of the field. They know that
we didn't push the ball. We didn't go deep one time in this game. No, I was kind of hoping that they were just kind of saving it. And not like that they believe they could actually do it, but like just ask them to do it one time. Come on, one time. Josh, I don't know how old you are because I'm the old guy in the room, but have you ever seen a movie Rookie of the Year where the kid broke his arm playing baseball?
No, that one went over my head. I'm 31, but it was just one of them movies I never had an interest in. I've always been a football guy, like through and through. I played football in middle school and high school. Ironically, somehow played DE and corner. But yeah, no, that one missed me.
So the premise of this movie is this kid, he's a Chicago Cubs fan, and the Cubs stink. And he breaks his arm. He slips on a baseball, breaks his arm, and then they put it in the cast, and it sits in there for like 3 months. And somehow they tuned his arm up too tight. And so this like 12-year-old kid is throwing like 99-mile-an-hour heaters. And he makes this pro baseball team. But then he slips at the last game of the season. He slips on the baseball like he did at the very beginning of the game and hits his shoulder again, and it stops working. That's what I feel like has happened to Cam Newton, is that my man, I feel like his arm is about to fall off. It is, for a guy that can throw a football through a piece of plywood, he is laboring out there, Josh, to get the ball downfield. And I think you could see that by not one single attempt downfield.
Oh, yeah, no, it was blatant. It was obvious. And I mean, I think it's something the Saints defense picked up on real quick, just based on the amount of attempts with McCaffrey and the fact that we stayed underneath all night. You know, there was not even an attempt on a route that went past 15, 20 yards, like Cody said, and there was no effort out there to even make it happen. And you know, it only takes a half of football, if that, for a defense to cue in on things like that. Your quarterback's got a major injury, especially a guy who's known for having a howitzer of an arm, and it's a divisional rival. They're going to know faster than anybody else that something's going on. Something's up with Cam. And again, I get it. He's the juice. He's the mojo. But damn, sit the man down. And if he's too full of it to do that, or if he's worried about displeasing people, maybe somebody should sit down and say, hey, maybe displeasing people for a couple games this year isn't a bad thing if it means you're not habitually displeasing people in the future and maybe the rest of your career.
Cody, respond to the Taylor Heineke, the call for Taylor Heineke to get some reps, because I think that I almost want to say, man, maybe we're 2 weeks past the point of that even. I mean, not past, like now. It's better late than never, I guess.
Well, listen, put him in there against two division rivals and see what you have in them. I mean, we need to know. So the days of Derek Anderson are done. The days of Webb are done. We need to know if we have a good backup quarterback behind Cam Newton, and why not do it against the Falcons and against the Saints? I mean, it's time to see if we have a backup quarterback that can at least be competent in the offense that we run. If not, it's time to draft another one. And that's something that we also haven't done. Most teams draft a quarterback, in the third or fourth round, maybe every other year or something like that. Maybe not the third or fourth, but in the later ends of the rounds, to have someone behind their starter. And you have to do that. You have to bolster your backup quarterback position. And we haven't done that. And we don't know what we have in Taylor, other than we have to depend on him to throw a Hail Mary pass every once in a while. So I'm 100% in favor of it. I will be pissed off if I see Cam Newton under center even one more time this year. I'm all for it.
All right, next call.
Hey, guys. It's Cody from up here in Roanoke, Virginia. Skipped last week.
What's up, dude?
Had to take a break. Watched that game tonight just because of the implications and possible Cinderella story of it all. Obviously, wasn't expecting much, to be quite honest. I was expecting worse than what we saw out there, not from our offense, but from our defense, oddly enough. Those tables turned quite a little bit there. But nonetheless, at this point, man, I'm not even disappointed playing for the draft pick, playing for the ability to look for a coach ahead of time, before all this kind of goes backwards. I don't know if Ron saves his season with the defensive effort that was put up, because I think that's why he's here, is the quality of defense that he allows.
on the field for most of the seasons that he's been our head coach. But, I'm definitely looking forward to something fresh. I know it's easy in the bad seasons to blame it on the head coach and hope that somebody else comes in, and, we see what happens with all these other teams, and it doesn't always end with the success that we expect. So, I tamper my expectations with the fact that, we're going to be getting a new head coach, most likely, just because there's a lot of transition. There's a lot of, things that can go wrong with that. And we've seen it we've seen it happen with the Panthers. We've seen it happen, with a lot of other teams, and I just don't want to get into this, category of a bad team. I know our window is closing quickly, for that, even though we have a lot of young people, and I may lose you guys. I mean, coming up to that third 3 minutes, I'll give you guys a shot back one more time, if I lose you. But the offense was abysmal. I have no idea
terrible
what was going on. I mean, I do.
But Cam Newton kind of hard when it doesn't have an arm.
100%. And I ask you,
I don't even think
Cam
he's
Newton
50%.
Not at 100% right now. What do you believe he's at? And at one point, does Taylor Heineke exceed the expectations of what we expect Cam to do? When do we make that decision? I'm a fan of putting Cam on IR and getting the surgery that we all know that he needs right now. He said he learned, the organization, said that they learned from the 2016 season. Cam said he learned from the 2016 season when he was pushing himself through the shoulder injury when he probably shouldn't have. And I feel as though we're seeing that again. I wasn't.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that back over to you, Cody, just because we've talked a little bit about putting Taylor Heineke in here. Where do you really think Cam Newton is? Because I'm saying like 48%. Maybe I'll say 52 because his legs still work.
I mean, I don't know. I can pull a number out of a hat, and it'd be, it doesn't mean anything. I know. I mean, no one knows anything. I mean, if you think about it, Cam Newton traditionally has been one of the bigger arm quarterbacks in the NFL since he's come into the NFL. And the fact that, I mean, they're not even letting him throw above 15 yards, man. I mean, that's hurt, man. So he threw out 40-something%. I'm saying maybe even less than that. I mean, it's bad at this point. I mean, that's why I'm saying if Cam Newton plays another snap, you have to wonder is there anyone in this organization that even cares enough about his long-term health? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't even think that Ron should even think about playing Cam like actually saves his job. At this point, I would think that maybe saving his job more so would be knowing when to shut things down and to develop guys rather than to look in the short term. Josh, I'm going to go to you on that. Where do you think Cam is if you were going to put a number on it?
Honestly, I mean, let me put it into perspective the way I'm looking at it, okay? I'm up in Massachusetts. Thursday night, me and my buddy are hopping in a car, driving down to Charlotte for Sunday's game. That's some mileage to put down, right? It's my first NFL game. I don't want to see Cam. I mean, part of me as a Panthers fan wants to see him, but I know full well there's no excuse to have him out there. The season's lost. He's hurt. Putting him out there at this point is reckless. It's irresponsible. And I think if he starts Sunday, Ron's definitely gone. I think so.
Yeah. It's almost time to look at it the other way. Instead of playing him to keep your job, playing him will lose your job.
But at what point does David Tepper come in and say, listen, I just dropped over $2 billion on a franchise and you're still playing the quarterback that's hurt? No, dude, I'm delivering the marching orders saying that you sit Cam Newton effective right now. I mean, at what point does the owner do that?
No, tonight I think that last drive was it. That was it. You know, you give the man a chance to win a division game on Monday Night Football in front of a home crowd. Yeah, you give that man the shot. But it didn't pan out, and the offense looked limited because of it. So you're going to parade him out there like some kind of beaten down parade pony? No.
Did you say, Josh, did you say you're driving here to go to a football game from Massachusetts and you're going to go see the Falcons?
Yeah, I'm going to the Sunday game, the 23rd. Oh.
Give that man an applause.
That's good news, people.
That's good news, people. As President Obama said. Good God, I love old Barry.
I started being a Panthers fan when I started really being an NFL fan. I was 8 years old, 95. They were a new team.
Oh,
I was
wow.
a big fan.
Yeah.
I thought the logo was cool, and you know, I was new to football, so I mean, you know, the first year was kind of rough, and especially because up here, up until the last couple of years, watching our games has been a struggle. You know, but then our second year to have a playoff push, that quick into the franchise being a thing, and then especially living in New England, 2003 was rough because of the Super Bowl. You know, but that's the thing is my old man's a Patriots fan, and he's a Patriots fan from way back. He's not a Patriots fan from, well, Tom Brady. No, he remembers the Grogan and Rod Rust era. He remembers watching his team go out and get shellacked. You know, go one and well, I think the season was only 14 or 15 games, only win a game a year. And then, you know, to make it to the Super Bowl in '85 and then go get steamrolled by Ron Rivera and company, the Bears. You know, so it ain't been easy, but I think
She's talking about Tom. Get out, Fred. Out.
I love to hear Panther fan, like how people became fan stories, because as a new organization, you always get a mix of what's happening. Let me see if this is the next call. Did we listen to this one?
Sorry, I get cut off. It's Cody again from up here in Roanoke, Virginia. I was just saying that, you know, I think it's time for Cam to be, put on IR and, you know, get the rehabilitation from a surgery done early so that we don't run into a situation like 2017 where it took him halfway through the season to really get any type of a groove together, which really didn't even happen then. It's clear there's something wrong, and the fact that, you know, we still are pushing him to be on the field is just, I get it. You know, I think there's two trains of thought. You know, as a fan, let's play for draft picks, right? And as a coach, play to save your job. And at the end of the day, if we lose the next two games, it's in my opinion, a surefire, you know, way to get him out of the door. But Ron is going to be fighting tooth and nail to keep his job. And I think that we'll see a lot of fight next week. That's why I think that we'll see Cam in there, because Ron is going to encourage it. I feel like if Ron lets Cam sit, that's Ron basically signing his own resignation and sending to Mr. Tepper to say, hey, listen, it's been a good ride. I'm going to take my talents elsewhere and pull LeBron. But that's truly not the way that it would go down. But that essentially, metaphorically speaking, is how it would happen if he sat Cam. So I can see him pushing Cam himself, you know, regardless of his health and the future of the franchise. I think that, you know, sitting Cam is a long shot, unless they really find, you know, the doctors find a reason to pull him out and, you know, kind of put him on the bench from here on out. And sorry for the monotone. I know this is not going to make for a very interesting call, so my apologies.
I think it's been
you guys
are
probably going to cut me off by now just because of the monotone nature of my phone call. But all my emotions gone. That's what the Panthers do to me. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Keep pounding, and let's sit back and relax and watch some football for the rest of the season. We have no skin in the game, so we'll get to enjoy football, whereas we normally wouldn't. I guess. Peace.
Yeah, no, look, don't apologize for that call. I think that's a great call. I think that we are talking about a lot there. We're talking about what Cam Newton means to the franchise, what his long-term health means to the franchise, and how that impacts the coaching staff and the front office. But I'm going to put out something there different for you guys. Also, when we were on the first half of that call, we're starting to now think that maybe not sitting Cam actually could threaten where you are because you look like the coach trying to save your job. I'm starting to believe this, guys, and Lynn said it on Facebook, Legacy Lines in YouTube. You usually know her. And she said, I think that Ron Rivera is safe. And I believe it. I believe Ron Rivera comes back another year. And the reason being, I think this is that I think that we talked with Dan Hatman last week, and Dan Hatman talked about the timing of replacing a GM, and maybe that window is closing a little quickly. But now, today, I saw a report that Steve Wilkes is going to be a one-and-done coach likely in St. Louis. And while I know the Panthers are a high-end and a high-prospect job because of a Cam Newton and a Christian McCaffrey, there's a lot of jobs coming up, guys. I don't know if there's enough coaches and enough GMs out there right now to beat out Ron Rivera, even despite his flaws. Cody, I'll go to you first.
I don't buy it, man. I don't buy it. I think that if you're David Tepper, and I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but man, you just spent $2.2 something billion on an NFL team, and after a season where you started 6-2, you've been in so many games where you lost by a field goal, a touchdown. Something stupid. We've been in so many different games. Ron Rivera has never had back-to-back winning seasons. Why would David Tepper want to keep Ron Rivera there? I mean, there are people, and so this is another thing.
Into the playoffs a bunch.
Yeah, but man, there's so much.
Been to a Super Bowl.
That leaves out a bunch of information. 2014 was a dumpster fire in the division, and another thing that
2014 doesn't count. 2014 doesn't count.
And listen, the one more thing I'll say though is that just because we say, oh well, there's not a lot of hot new young coaches out there on the market, there are people that the higher ups know of and are aware of that fans on our level, we might not even know their name yet. So, to me, that's like saying, hey, I'm going to stay in an abusive relationship because it's not like I can do any better right now. I mean, in the end, you're just hurting yourself, man.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think if we go with a new head coach, I really don't see that answer coming from within the NFL already. I see us, unless
that's
Pepper
scary,
goes
though. None of them have ever worked. Name me one college coach that has worked.
I mean, everybody comes from somewhere.
Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll. And maybe he was an NFL coach who went college and then came back.
Exactly. I was gonna say he was up here for a couple of years, didn't do so hot, and they booted him out pretty quick. But
the YouTube chat will find us one if there is one that exists. Maybe did the guy that did Dick Vermeil coach college at all? Did he cry in college at all? I can't remember. I know he was in the Jets. He's always crying. Well, right? Then he went to the Rams. I don't know if he coached college. I cannot think. Carl D says Harbaugh. But I don't even know if we can give Harbaugh that because he's booted out. Like he's not even in the NFL.
Get out of here. Get out of it.
Yeah.
I don't want Harbaugh either. But he did have success in the NFL. I think maybe that's what Carl D is bringing up. Hey, real quick, and then we can go to cat calls or whatever. I just wanted to bring this up because this is something that we've yet to to showcase or even talk about on the podcast. Eric Reed has now been randomly drug tested for the 7th time in a row. This has been going on after every single game. The NFL randomly drug tests Eric Reed. I mean, come on. Do you have an agenda or do you have a fucking agenda, bro? Dude, it is embarrassing. The NFL does not know how to get out of their own way, man.
Why is the NFL the rich? Imagine being the biggest fucking dumbass in the world and making a bazillion dollars. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, I'm gonna start a business selling muffin tops, like my man did in Seinfeld, or whatever. And then all of a sudden, he's a bazillionaire. How can they make so much God-forsaken money and not get out of their own way? They're terrible. This is ridiculous. Hey, and shout out to Eric Reed for tonight's game, because to be honest, before tonight's game, he did. Good. But before tonight's game, guys, I said something to myself. I started to go, maybe Eric Reed was a little hype. And then tonight, you know what I'm saying, is like you see him play a little bit more natural position. Yeah. And, is that I thought this is that, well, maybe when you overhype somebody, period, they're always going to be disappointing. But he played fantastic tonight, I thought. I thought he was a difference maker. He did miss one tackle early. But good God, this is insane to single him out like that, Cody.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, how are you randomly drug tested 7 times in a row? That's not random at all. I mean, listen.
No, if you went fishing and that's why they call it fishing, right? You go fishing and you might catch a fish, because then when you take your kids fishing and they're like, why aren't we catching fish? You go, that's why it's not called catching. That's what every dad tells to their kids. That's why it's not called catching. This is not called random. When it happens every time.
No.
I want to go ahead. Do you want to add something to this, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, somebody, I forget which group it was on Facebook, but somebody actually broke down the mathematical possibility of somebody being selected this many times when it's 10 players every week from every team, blah, blah, blah. And it's something ridiculous, like a 0.119% chance of it happening with a random system. It's deplorable. It's like, really? Are we really not trying? It's like, come on. Like, this is supposed to be a game of integrity. Like, these guys are making millions of dollars, and you got these professional officials, and they're blowing calls, and then you got guys getting randomly drug screened, and it's like, man, you want to come on. Is it too early for an ice up? Ice up, man.
I know. That's right. All right, let's get into the next call.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cody.
Well, I was going to provide an update. So Cam Newton has been giving his press conference, and on his shoulder soreness, he said there has not been a night in a long time where he hasn't had some sort of shoulder treatment. He also says, I wish I could say what the injury is, but I don't know myself. I've done everything. There hasn't been a day where I haven't gotten some work done on my arm, stiffness, muscle tension, but it's not something that's gotten worse or better. It just is what it is. He went on to say, my arm or the shoulder just doesn't have the strength. So coming from the man
that
himself.
That might be the saddest. Damn you, Cody. Ice up Cody for reading that shit. That's actually the worst. That's the worst thing we could hear, to be honest.
Yeah,
that is the absolute worst thing.
Straight from the mouth of the man.
Because, and in the words of Cam Newton, straight from the mouth of the man in the mirror. He always loves to say that. And I'm looking at the man in the mirror, right? But
Yeah.
Like he's Michael
that
Jackson or
is,
something.
yeah, that is the worst. It's the worst news because it's like we don't even know like repairing it if it does. Like imagine if you just went like if his arm just didn't work anymore.
Or if it
Oh
just
my
fell
god.
off.
Yeah, I mean we're close to that. All right, we're
That's
gonna
what it
break
looked
back
like
to these.
tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean that's exactly what it looks like. I don't know. I mean, we almost need to go get like a baseball guy in here to talk about what happens when a guy throws his arm into oblivion. And there might be something to this. I think it's to glory all be. I forget who it is on Twitter, but we've been talking a lot, and you're starting to wonder too if Cam Newton, if he just kind of has a violent throwing motion that just puts so much more stress on it. You know, it's just like he's not just chucking them in there. It's just there's so much velocity all the time that it wears down on it. But we're going to break back into these cat calls. The number's 252-228-5098.
Hey, this is D-Bax Wolf for North Carolina. I sometimes wonder, has anybody actually played football? I get Cam's hurt. At this point now, we should seriously consider him,
Well, look, he's devastated here. Hold on. This might be the back end of the call.
as D-Bax again, like the first guy. But one thing I want everybody to remember, what happened to Matt Khalil? He wasted all that fucking money on him.
Don't even bloop him.
Money wasted. Money wasted. I get everybody's Medicare.
He better be sweeping up the goddamn stadium right
if
now.
he gets hurt and he doesn't play off a fucking small ass injury, nobody's gonna play. Respect him, love him. At this point now, let's see. He's hurt, but he set the Marshall team. And at this point, everybody's gonna fight for him. And that's what I love. Because ain't nothing like a warrior in the football locker room. That's all I have to say.
Well, you know, that's the truth is that everybody has always respected Cam Newton based on his on just how much he will lay on the line. But Cody, after you read those comments of that there hasn't been a day in 2 years since I haven't had a football treatment stiffness and the strength is just not there. After hearing that, if we would have heard that before the game, we would have said, sit Cam Newton. Somebody has to tell Cam. Somebody has to put the foot down and say, sit Cam Newton.
And by the way, he was even asked. Would he consider sitting, and he said, "That's not me." So Cam Newton isn't going to. Cam Newton, he's not going to save himself, you know. And listen, I mean, we've been saying this.
Did he just throw Ron under the bus? Is that maybe what that was?
A little bit.
Is that maybe him knowing that there's some pressure from not only fans but the sports media at large? Like, what's going on here? Is it a franchise 2 years removed from a 15-1 season, and now all of a sudden there's these problems? I think maybe 2015, looking back, maybe it was just the culmination of the right talent, irregardless of who the coaches were, because that happens in sports, period. Sometimes you just got the right guys at the right time, and I think that's what 2015 was. You had the right amount of new guys, the right amount of vets, and it just came together, and it was special. And now I feel like not necessarily the locker room, but Ron is kind of still in his career at large is still living off of that kind of mojo. Some of that fairy dust is still in the air. And for better or for worse, I really think it's time for a change. I really do.
Yeah.
The fact that he's still letting Cam go out there and play. If he plays Cam this coming week, again, I'm going a long way to see this game. But I'll be more disappointed to see Cam out there than to go all that way and not see Cam.
Man, that has to be a hell of a feeling, huh? Traveling all the way down to Atlanta to see the Panthers, and you want to see Cam Newton so bad.
It's in Carolina. It's in Carolina.
More pissed off. Oh yeah, right, Carolina. But
it's still that's like that's 2 less hours for him.
Yeah, but still it's going to be rough. But man, I've been a fan so long. I'm at the point where it's like, do what's best for our future.
Yeah,
the hell with tomorrow, because tomorrow we're out the playoffs. What are we going to do? It's say
we were out the playoffs last week. We were out the playoffs last week. Let's be honest.
Miracle our way in there. What are we going to do? Go get the hell kicked out of us in prime time for the 3rd time this year? I'm all set with that. I'm all set. I don't know about you guys. I'm all set. What's the chat got to say? They all set too? Yeah. Trade Ron to Buffalo. Yeah. Come on.
Keep rolling.
Cody, one thing we heard Josh say is that play Cam Newton, where Cam Newton feels an obligation to the fans, right? Like he wants to be there for them, be their warrior and this and that. But to hear Cam Newton's statement in this press conference right here, I mean, I think we're all Carolina Panther fans right here. We're all staying up late doing this post-game show right here. The real fan doesn't want to see Cam Newton right now. This is the Cam Newton we don't want to see. I don't think you risk anything there. We had no play. And to say this, that we really had any playoff possibility. I think there's a difference between making the playoffs and actually making the playoffs and doing something. And we saw the bet. If without Cam, how about this? I don't care what you guys say. You can talk about look, our defense has kind of been trashy all season, but tonight they really showed us, hey, maybe we can surge into the playoffs. But without Cam Newton, folks, we can't surge for shit. We can't surge for a damn first down. And if it's this bad, Cody, why didn't we think about this 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago, maybe. I just ripped my earbuds out.
I mean, I've been saying, this is something that has kind of dawned on me recently. I honestly think that in 2016, we did Cam Newton a terrible disservice by playing him all the way through that season and not shutting him down and let him get healthy even earlier. I mean, he might have been even healthy enough to, win some of those games in 2017 that, caused him to start so flat. If we don't do something right now, I mean, listen, guys, let's just be honest. Let's say what we're all terribly afraid of, that the shoulder might never be the same, and that we have to start.
Damn right. That's the scariest.
And here's the real terrifying thing, that we have to start thinking about life after Cam Newton for the Carolina Panthers. I mean, that's where we are right now. And it's bad.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable. That is unbelievable to hear that. All right, we're going to break back into these cat calls. The number's 252-228-1598.
Hey there, this is Mark Newton from Asheville, North Carolina. Big Panthers fan, following for a very long time. Listen, first of all, I just want to thank you guys for everything that y'all do. I enjoy watching y'all's podcast, and
thanks, Mark. Man, we appreciate
enjoy everything y'all have to say about the Panthers, and I agree on most of it. As far as the Panthers tonight, their defense played actually very great. I'm very happy with the way the defense stepped up. Eric Reed stepped up, kept the medal, and he got off to kind of a bad start, and then he picked it up. I was happy about that. Kuechly, he's still one of the best in the game. He showed that tonight. Thomas Davis played good. I mean, I was happy with even some of the pass rush a little bit. That looked good too. But let's go back to the offense a little bit. Cam's same old Cam he's been all year. He's struggled a lot. I know he's been hurt and all that, but I don't understand why the coaches decide to keep him in. It don't make a lot of sense to me whenever he's hurt. And at the same time, he just ain't playing that good. And it's common sense. Everybody that I know says that. And it's, it's pretty obvious to see, from the outside looking in. And, and we've had some hard times on the offensive line a little bit and all that, but, Cam, he's supposed to be a leader. He's been in this league for, 8 years, whatever. He needs to, get this stuff figured out. It's whatever it is that's bothering him or he's not changing about his footwork or his progression toward the game. He has to change that. And he's decided not to. He wants to play his game, and I respect that, but it just ain't working. And on my personal opinion, I just think it's time to move on from Cam. That's all. But, if the Panthers decide to hang on to him, then I'll, of course, support him, just like always. But, we got to figure out what's going on and, work toward getting a Super Bowl win, because that's what we're all waiting on here. Every fan out there, that's what we want. That's what we ultimately want. So, anyway, thank you guys for taking my call. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and God bless you. Keep pounding.
Hey, man. Well, look, thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate that. Nice call there. Until the Cam. Oh, God, it's time to move on from Cam. All right, look, Cody just said it, Josh, a minute before that call. And that is ultimately the scary thought here. And there is only one way that Cam Newton, the life after Cam Newton in Carolina occurs to me. And that is if it's like a Bo Jackson type of injury to the shoulder for Cam, where he cannot get it back. Because look, his legs work just fine. Like I feel like his decision making has improved tenfold since he's been with Norv Turner. To me, at the end of the day, is that he has limited protection and he has trouble delivering the ball at this moment. Josh, what in the world would life without Cam even be like, man?
The name Winky comes to mind.
He's playing. Chris Winky, he's got the same arm as Chris Winky right now.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, it's a hard reality for any of us to even imagine, I think, because he's the best we've had by far. I mean, yeah, Jake was pretty great for his time, but then he fell off pretty hard, pretty fast. So I mean, I think it's understandable for apprehension to the idea. I don't like the idea. I was excited when we got Cam. Because the end of his college career was some of the first college football I really started watching. But I mean, I think we're all just afraid of it because he's the most dynamic and by far the best quarterback we've had. He brings things to the table that are hard to quantify. They're hard to just jot down on a spreadsheet somewhere and add and subtract, and you get a number at the end. He's not that kind of guy, as you could say, the intangibles. And I think it really sucks to see what we're seeing now because of what the early part of the season really was, man. It looked good. It was looking shit hot. It was like, all right, this is good. We were having a Panthers party every week, and then we stormed back against the Eagles, and it was like, oh man, yeah, I think we're the real deal. And then Pittsburgh happened, and then
Pittsburgh happened.
It was like somebody came along and shot our damn cat right in the forest, right out there, just bam. It was like, oh. and that was it. And this week seeing the defense come back and have it be for naught, it's like, man, what's that going to do to the next 2 weeks? I mean, I get it. We're not playing for anything other than pride. But come on, man. I mean, this is the end of the line for a lot of guys. Let's be real. Peppers ain't coming
A
back.
ton.
Olsen ain't coming back. Ryan Khalil probably ain't coming back. Thomas Davis, he'll tell you every year that I got one more year left because that's just his attitude. I mean, the man's had his ACL done three times? 3 times?
And you know what, Josh? Here's the deal. Not only even if they want to come back, it's our duty, as much as we love them, if we have a competent front office, we can't let them come back. We love them and we thank them for. Listen, some of my best memories with football come from Cam Newton, Greg Olsen, Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, Julius Peppers, all of these Panthers that will always and forever, be connected to my greatest memories of football. But if you want to worry about your future, you cannot continue to have aging players on your football team at the most important positions. It can't happen. So even if they wanted to come back, yeah, you're right. We're going to move on from a lot of Panthers players.
Yeah. Although, hey, speaking of the old guys, I got to give a shout out to Mike Adams tonight. Put him a hit. And I think it was either Kamara or Michael Thomas. And, man, I mean, that happened, and everybody in the bar, even the people who weren't watching the game, turned around, looked at the TV, and went, damn. So let's give Mike Adams, the old man, how old is he? 37?
He's one day less. He's one day less old than Julius Peppers. My favorite play of the game was Eric Reed, where Alvin Kamara tried to hurdle him, and it looked like Eric Reed really tried to launch him like a WWE player into the stands. But here, you want to talk about players that aren't coming back, Cody? Let's make a list. Greg Olsen, Ryan Khalil, Julius Peppers, right? Mike Adams, Thomas Davis. That's 5 people that we like. Now let's talk about the people we don't like. Devin Funchess, Chris Clark,
Matt Khalil, who never even played, who was still going to pay a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, we're at 8 players right there. 8 starters. 8 starters right there who aren't even going to be on this team. And that tells you something. Look, Deuce Montana says Vernon Butler shouldn't come back.
Nope.
Yeah.
I agree.
You could almost – I bet you people – I'm surprised nobody said Don Terry Poe shouldn't come back. He's going to be with us for another year.
Don Terry Poe. Yeah.
The next 2 people, as soon as you say that, 3 people.
Arguably, you're sitting there going, hey, James Bradbury might have had his best game of the season this year tonight because he picked off an errant ball. But he could even be somebody – theoretically, that isn't coming back. Eric Reed might not even come back. Shaq Thompson might not come back. To be honest, somebody said that Shaq Thompson may have broke his arm tonight, and he's in the last year of his deal.
Wait, you said what now? Shaq broke his arm?
No, somebody saw there was an early play. Somebody text me, and they said I wouldn't be surprised if Shaq actually broke his forearm on that play. He hit this dude, and he came off, and but you're going to have to pay him. You're going to have to pay him.
But how much? I mean, he's not had, beginning of the season, I'm seeing 54 everywhere and all this and all that. It's like, man.
He has been whelming. He has been less. He hasn't been underwhelming. He hasn't been overwhelming. He's been whelming.
Yeah.
But here's the question. We all remember Thomas Davis missed 4 games. Correct me if I'm wrong. We only lost one of those 4 games with him filling in for TD, right?
Yeah. Or maybe we went 2-2.
I'm
know.
with Air Raid 73 in YouTube chat says Shaq's been meh. And I agree. I'm
And hey,
100%
here's
with
another
that.
one.
Yeah,
Hey, listen, here's
no.
another one. Let me throw out another one that we haven't mentioned yet. How about Daryl Williams, or one of the highest graded right tackles last year? He has to get paid too. Are we going to pay him coming off of a year where he didn't play since Dallas? I mean, come on, there are so many holes on the football team right now. Oh my God, on top of, if we even had to entertain the notion of moving on from number one, let me tell you, man, it's a bad day for Panthers.
All right. It sounds like Josh needs to put his phone on the charger. That's what I
No,
was going to
mine's
say.
dying.
It's yours? It was yours?
Yeah. It's me. I'm not gonna let Josh take the fall for
15%.
He's got a good 15%. All right, next cat call. Here we go.
Hey guys, this is Jedi Jordan chat. Stats are like bikinis. They'll show you some things, but they don't show you everything.
Good call. Good call.
If you would have told me before this game started that we would hold the New Orleans Saints high-flying offense 12 points and somehow still lose the game because our offense couldn't get it together, I probably would have slapped you at first, but then I was like, you know what, the Panthers, they know how to find different ways to lose, and that's exactly what they did tonight. I want to shout out the defense. The defense played great, like even amongst some bad calls and some things went wrong their way. Those guys played with a lot of heart, and they gave us plenty of opportunities to go and win that game. I think this is the week there is finally, I think you guys said it earlier, just sit Cam. It's not worth him possibly further injuring himself and then missing out on recovery time just for a lost season, just for try to get to 8-8 or whatever. So let's sit him. Let's see if Heineke can be like see if he's our new Derek Anderson or not, and if he's not, then try to see who else we can get in the off season. It's been a good season, and I'm still gonna watch the next two games. I think we can officially throw in a towel on this season and our playoff hopes, if there were any playoff hopes. Anyway, guys, keep pounding. Have a good one.
Yeah, and Josh, he kind of brought up what I mentioned earlier. We really don't know who Taylor Heineke even is as a football player. I mean, we've seen him throw the occasional long ball since Cam Newton isn't able to do it. But, and we have some preseason footage. But other than that, let's put it this way. We're not Philadelphia where we know we have Nick Foles waiting in case our number one goes down. We don't have a lot of footage out of him. I mean, even the college that he went to, he's out of Old Dominion. It's not as if he's playing SEC type of competition. So, what do you think about that? Do you think that it's time to just see what kind of player we have in Taylor?
I think so. If for nothing more, give him reps, give him time. Give him a chance to get some season on him, get some salt and some pepper. See what the kid's got. See what his strengths and weaknesses are. See how he does in front of the big lights, in front of the camera. I mean, I know these aren't primetime games we've got coming up, but it's still a televised game. It's still a real audience. It's still a stadium full of people. You got to figure out what you got, and you don't get that in practice. You got to throw him in the fire. And right now, luckily for him, the fire ain't that hot. I mean, yeah, they're real NFL games, but they're, it's not like we're relying on him to save the season. It's not like, something like that. It's two honest games to go out and play, get some play time, get some experience, build some of a rapport with the rest of the offense, and hopefully not get bludgeoned by the lack of an offensive line. Really, that would be my only concern. But that's a concern that applies to any quarterback we've got. Is geez, we don't want him going out and getting crushed.
Man, I tell you, the saddest thing about this conversation here is that while we talk about trotting Taylor Heineke out there to get some film, get some game reps, which those are all right points. You know what I mean? Is that, look, you don't learn. I've seen NFL practices, not like behind closed door sessions, but when you go to training camp, they barely practice. And I'm not saying they're out there not working hard. It's like they're going to be like this. We're going to run this route one time. Got it? Moving on. It is not like the practice that I deal with, like with you, that you take your kids and you do the same thing over and over and over. It is a glorified walkthrough, all of it. And so I don't think that, I do agree. The only way you're going to find out what you got is by putting some people in. And we were really there 2 weeks ago. And I know that a lot of people don't want to hear that. But we could see that as Cam Newton's shoulder was deteriorating and his health was declining, and our defense, while they were phenomenal this week, they've been just putrid in the past. We knew that this was just not our year, even though it started out that well. But what I'm not excited about and very sad about this is I keep coming back to Cody's comment. And that is the scariest part about this is, like, I don't really need to see what we got out of Taylor Heineke. Like, yeah, I mean, kind of. Like, yeah, I'd rather for him to get some game reps than not have them. But if we don't got Cam Newton, we don't got shit. And if we, like, that is the scary thought right there. That is the scariest thought. And you know, Cody, I was sitting there and I've kind of been secretly harboring that I didn't want to let it creep into my mind that it could be a possibility that Cam Newton's arm could be broken.
And we're going to know after next season. I mean, I don't think this is – I mean, I don't know. I mean, any crazy number of things could happen until, September of from now until September of next year. But, yeah, I mean, listen, we've talked about how we became Panther fans. And I think I might have told this before. I used to like football when I was young, but then I fell off of it, and I was a huge MMA fan and the UFC, and I still am. But I fell off of football forever, and I was going through a terrible time in my life. I was coming off of a breakup, and one day I'm on a bus, and I hear the radio's on, and they're talking about this player from Auburn named Cam Newton. And they're saying, hey, we have to pick this guy number one, right? I mean, he has to be the Panther. And I always enjoyed the Panthers, but I didn't follow them because I didn't have that player that I truly loved. But then when I found out about Cam Newton and I saw what he was able to do at Auburn, I'm like, oh my God, that guy could play here in Charlotte. So my literal fandom started with number one. Call me a bandwagon fan. I don't care. I'll be a fan of this team forever and ever and ever. Cam Newton is the reason I'm a Panthers fan today, man. So for me to even think about the Panthers minus Cam Newton, my favorite quarterback of all time, dude, that hits me where I live, man. I mean, that hurts a lot. And it's sad that now we're having to think about that might be what we're talking about. I mean, these shoulder injuries are bad.
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to Yotes and Underground West, Will Lassiter in the YouTube chat. Thanks for joining us. And I'm going to peek over to Facebook and see Otella Claxton's probably still trolling us about how we got to get rid of Cam, so I'm not going to give you any love. But the speaking of that, is that where you say that about a player that makes it, is that and I've said this before on the show, and I mean, we've been doing this show for 6 years, man, which is crazy. But for me, both of those guys actually are on the Panthers right now. Julius Peppers was that guy in 2001 because he played high school football about a half an hour from where I live at. And then he went to UNC Chapel Hill, and I was watching basketball in high school and all this mess. And then he goes to the Carolina Panthers. And I said, I'm going to be a fan of whatever team Julius Peppers goes to. Not like that was going to be my team, but my family's all from up north. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't have any ties to a football team really. And when he went to Carolina, I was like, this is meant to be. I live in Carolina. This is my guy. He lives a half hour down the road. He went, like, I've been following him through college. He's the number 2 draft pick or whatever he was, number 1 or number 2. And I'm sitting there. And then you know what is that we go through a decade. And then I got that again with Cam Newton. My wife bought me a Cam Newton jersey before he played a snap with the Carolina Panthers. And I was so pumped for that shit, bro. I was so pumped for that. So it is tough to see that out of all the protectors of Cam, I'm the Cam Newton Secret Service. And boy, it's tough to watch. I just don't want to see a guy who's 30 years old to go out looking like he's 40 at 32.
Yeah.
Next call. The number's 252-228-5098. You can be a part of the C3 Panthers podcast right now.
Hi, this is Carl D.
What's up, Carl?
What's going on, fella? How y'all doing tonight? First, I'd like to say that guest y'all had, I don't know if I'm getting on the show tonight, but if I do, I'd like to say your guest, what's his name, Josh? How you going to sit there and say Harbaugh don't count? If my calculations and my history is correct, Harbaugh was successful at San Diego State when he took over. He was successful at Stanford, that we know.
But he was
when he came
fired.
To the NFL,
he was fired, Carl D.
He wasn't successful in the NFL. 3 straight NFC championship games, a Super Bowl appearance, but that's not successful in the NFL. And the only reason he got booted in San Francisco because they had a dumb general manager that they had at the time didn't like Harbaugh. So come on, man. Come on with that. Jim Harbaugh don't count or Jim Harbaugh sucks. Really, dude? That's an example.
All right, moving along, Carl. Moving along, Carl.
Pro and making it big time in the pro. Get out of here, man, with that. Anyway.
He wanted us to react.
The Panthers, I don't know. That's it, Tony. That's it.
I agree. It was that
because we are done.
We were done 2 weeks ago.
Done. We're more done than a turkey at Thanksgiving, my friend.
Dry. That dry meat. It's that dry meat.
Me personally, wouldn't sit Cam down for the rest of the shut him down. Bring in Heineke, however you pronounce his name, let him play, see what the backup got. Hey, he was a backup for a reason. Let's see what the kid got. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to playoffs, so, I mean, hey, we already
I don't
lost
care what he's got.
in a row.
The only thing I want Heineke in is to protect Cam.
Let the backup play, and we end up losing. Heck, it's a possibility we were going to lose 7 straight or 8 straight anyway with Cam. Because Cam's not healthy. So, I mean, I say do it. Do it. Do it. And yes, Ron needs to go. Stop. I hope David Tepper is not one of those owners that are afraid of change. And I hear a lot of fans that are scared of change. That's why they come up with any excuse to keep Ron. Like Cody said, the excuse about who else is out there? We don't know.
Oh,
all right. There is. He got cut off. He might be next. Actually, here. Look, here he is. This is the next call.
This one was going to be short and sweet. Like I said, I don't know if I make the show calls tonight. I got cut off So I'm gonna just make this short and sweet. I will call back tomorrow and try to make tomorrow's show for tomorrow's show if there is a tomorrow show, guys.
It is.
Well,
it's live at
until then,
9 p.m.
you guys
Tuesday
keep
night,
coming.
baby.
I'll be in the chat room watching. Hey, Cody.
I love
What's up?
Don't you come up with your excuses you've been making every single week.
Ain't no
the
excuses,
offensive line
Carl.
tonight.
This offensive line is bullshit,
For
baby. I
damn
said it
mistakes. I'm listening. I know it's going to be an excuse because that's just you. I am one of the biggest Cam fans too, but
It's
I
a
am
bullshit
I can't give a
offensive
man
line, Carl D. What's up?
excuse like you. But anyway,
Did that shit, man.
all right, guys, I'm gone.
But anyway, I love you.
It smells bad.
Yeah, we love you, but this offensive line is trash, bro. Straight trash.
Yeah, this is my crib sheet from the game tonight. Look at big letters right there in the middle. What's that say?
O-line.
O-line.
And what does that 5 stand for? What does that 5 stand for? How many times?
+5 because it's that bad.
Either that or that's how many times they beat up on Cam Newton tonight.
Look, I'm defending Carl D. I'm taking Carl D's stance right here. The offensive line has played better than it should have. Let's be honest. We don't even know if you could name if a regular Panther fan could name our left tackle and our left guard right now, we would give them $1,000. Like just a regular fan, Chris Clark and Van Roten. Who the hell are these mugs? And like they have actually played better than they should have. I tend to think that the weakest link on this line, surprisingly, has been Ryan Khalil.
Yeah, and
I said that. That's crazy. That's wild.
Listen, I understand what you're saying, but that's like saying, "Oh man, this is a delicious bowl of porridge." Who the hell is porridge, man? Like, I understand what you're saying, dude. I got it. They exceeded expectations.
It was like a really good Ritz cracker with nothing on it. No,
Yeah,
it's a cracker, man. There ain't no cheese. There's no cheese. There's no pepperoni. There's not even cheese. There's not even cheese in a can. There's nothing.
It was like somebody licked the salt off of it already.
And dude, listen, the fact, listen, I'll give them this. The fact that they played to the level that they have, yeah, kudos to them, man. But a hurt Cam Newton with a patchwork offensive line, the fact that Cam Newton had the numbers that he had to start this season is a testament to how badass Cam Newton is. Okay, and another thing.
He held the ball a ton tonight. He held it too long.
And where's he supposed to?
I won't say, but no, that's a good point. Is that as I'm sitting there going, why is it Cam getting rid of it? Why is it Cam getting rid of it? We also have to go back and look at the tape and see what were the routes. Because, if nobody is breaking, they did look like longer developing routes. So I was like, oh, let's take a pause here. I got to get my Cam Newton defense back on. But at the same time, this is not the worst offensive line he has played behind. That's my point.
Even still, I promise you this. Cam Newton is not holding on to the ball because he wants to. I mean, he's trying not to throw interceptions. He's trying to take care of the football. But if nothing's open down the field, I promise you, if Cam had something open, he would have been through the football. He's not holding on to it because he doesn't know any better. Yeah, man, it's a problem.
All right, don't lick the salt off my Ritz cracker.
Hey, what's up, guys? Man, crazy loss last night. But honestly, my main question for you guys is how do you guys feel heading into the off season? What we're going to be doing with the team? Because obviously, Mr. Tepper vocalized that he wants to win, and winning is his first thing on the agenda. And seeing the performance on Rivera as well as Cam, I really don't think we should let go of them. But clearly everybody has an opinion, so I just really wanted to hear your opinions on that. Bless up. Thank you, guys.
All right, so my thoughts on this, number one, Cody, is I think that we, after our, and I'm going to go ahead and plug everybody to go back and listen to the Dan Hatman interview. Dan Hatman's worked with 3 different front offices as a pro scout, and he studies general managers, and he's talking about the timing and the windows of putting guys in and bringing in a new GM. I kind of would like the plan of keeping Rivera for a season, Super Bowl, NFC Championship or bust, bring in a new GM, and then let him decide where the direction of our team is. I have been more and more pushed towards this, Cody, because there are so many coaching opportunities. The well has got to be running dry at some point. So we know we want to make these changes. We have talked ad nauseum about this, but I think where we got to look at this is continue to talk about that turnover, Cody. We're going to have to replace a left tackle, a center, 2 defensive ends, at least 1 defensive tackle, at least 1 linebacker, at least 1 receiver. The list is so crazy that it's really hard to think about. And the only thing that consoles me about it is that this happens to a lot of teams every year, maybe. But it is a big list, Cody.
It's a huge one. But, I like to personally draw the comparison between Andrew Luck and even what happened with them this year. They didn't put anyone around him. They had a defensive head coach. He got absolutely slaughtered because of it. He missed a year. They fired the head coach, bring in a better one, and then finally addressed in the draft with some premium offensive line picks to protect their best asset on the football team. And it's time the Panthers followed suit. There's a lot of holes on the team right now. But I mentioned this last Tuesday. You have to rip the Band-Aid off. And it's a very daunting task for a brand new general manager to have to come in and do that right now. But listen, man, if I'm a general manager, I want to be the guy that righted the ship in Carolina. I want to be the hero. I want to be the one that got everything back to sailing. But however many years or whatever Cam has left, we have to put offensive linemen around him that will give him time, and we need to put even more weapons around him in free agency as we develop DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel.
Josh, this is getting worse as Michael Jones reminds us that we need a nickel corner and a kicker too. There's a ton of holes here. It would be crazy to fill all the – I think my argument, Josh, is that it would be – there's so many holes. Is filling a new head coach the best answer at that point?
Well, it's funny you say that. It's something I kind of thought about in the week between. Call me crazy. Keep Ron and Hurney for this year, right? Focus on the talent. Focus on the talent need. And maybe, I know this won't be popular. Everybody's going to be asking for me to get traded to Buffalo on this one. Get Cam his damn shoulder surgery that he needs and sit him next year.
Oh, heal God. Him. Yeah. Out of here. Get out of here.
Listen. Look at what Indy's doing. What did Indy do? They sat Andrew Luck for a whole year, and then what they do? They surrounded him with an O-line that is now one of, I believe, the top 5 in the league, right?
Yeah, they're protecting him.
I think that's the key right there is that they have finally they had such a trash line. They had a trash line. And I think this is that we need I think the good news, guys, the reason there are so many holes on this team, but I truly think the good news is that if you can find a way to keep this offensive line, just improve it a niche, just one step up from what it's been this year, and then get a pass rusher on the other side, we have a lot of good things on offense. We have some okay things on defense. We just don't have the big boys down in the trenches to get it done. So can we please just get I am fine if we draft 2 offensive linemen and 2 defensive linemen, and that's our entire draft. Like, let's trade up. That's it. That's all I want. Next call. It's only 18 seconds. Let's see what this is about.
I just think that Cam Newton doesn't know how to throw long passes, and I just have to rant about that. Thank you.
Busted. Out of here. Get out of here. Whoever you are. That's the last damn call. That's a troll. Did you say, is that a girl?
I have no idea who that was. Do you? It sounded
like a 12-year-old kid. A 12-year-old kid.
Yeah. Somebody with low testosterone.
And somebody who's already in Buffalo.
Yeah, someone who's already in Buffalo.
Shivering in Buffalo. All right. That's the last of the cat calls right now. That's the last of. All right. Yeah, we're done. We got through them all. People, man, it's a late night. I want to remind everybody that we're going to be live tomorrow night at 9 p.m. You can be a part of the show by joining us on YouTube in the chat room or via Shindig. Look, Josh, Shindig was easy to jump in, wasn't it?
Oh, dude, it was mad easy. It was you download an app and you get the invite link and that's it. Boom, done. And it works right on your phone. That's what I'm using now. I got my phone just aimed at me, and it's using the front-facing camera. I can see you guys. It's easy. It's a lot easier than I expected. Give it that much.
So we want to let you look. We can cycle in as many people as we want. Like, I mean, you can put 100 people in. Not that we're actually going to be able to do that, but look, join the show on Shindig. Be a part of the YouTube chat. Be a part of the C3 Panthers podcast live 9 p.m. Tuesday nights. And Cody, I'm going to give you this. The end. You know what is that show? We usually do, and maybe not usually since we've lost 6 games in a row. We do a dab on them pick of the week. Who's your player of the game, Cody? Even though we lost here.
I feel like I've given this to him before, but in a day and age where we're talking about maybe it's the end of Cam Newton, how many players are we going to be moving on from? God, I love Luke Kuechly, man. I love Luke Kuechly, dude. Dab on him, folks. Luke, I love Luke so much. Luke Kuechly is the man. I'm just so thankful that our defense has a player like that cares so much. I mean, that's telling our guys where to go, where to line up, what to do, calling the plays.
Telling Thomas Davis.
Yeah, man, just doing the damn thing, man. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of players. I mean, there were some great plays from our defensive players tonight. But I'll leave those to you because I don't feel right doing anybody other but the man Luke Kuechly. So to number 59, dab on them, folks.
Josh, who you got for your player of the game? Dab on him, pick of the week.
Oh, man. It's been a while since we've seen him have a good game. Maybe this might have been his best game since he's been back in Carolina. It's gotta be Captain Munnerlyn. Gotta be.
Wow. Right. Up and down game too.
It was, but I mean, man, he had some plays when it mattered. Went for real. And usually he tends to be a penalty machine on some dumb stuff. and it wasn't there tonight. It wasn't a problem tonight. He showed up. He played out. You can't complain. So, Captain Munderland, dab on him.
My dab on him pick goes to Dante Jackson for the 100, the 100-yard 2-point play. D-Jax, gosh, as Michael Jones says, showed his swagger. I thought that if Cam Newton would have thrown that ball to the corner with all those people right there, they would have been like, "Oh, well, that's Cam, not Newton, not understanding how guys are trying to plaster the line and all of this."
Of course they would have.
I felt like this is Drew Brees threw it right into traffic. And, like, I felt like I wanted to say if Dante Jackson wouldn't have made that play, I would have been fucking pissed at him. That's what I'm saying. Is like, it was a great play. And then the poor kid had to run 100 yards down the field. I tell you this, again, another thing about Dante Jackson, folks, he might be a sprinter, but that dude looked like he was slowing down in that last 20 yards. He was running fast as he could. I know, but he was like this. These bitch runs a 40. Hey, look, I ain't running 100 yards nowhere. I'm just saying this. Is you run a 4.3 40. What we're really asking is, what's my man's 100? Because that guy was huffing on gas at the end. But that's just me. All right. Look, this is C3 Panthers podcast. We're gonna be right back here tomorrow night, or actually tonight now, since we've gone over the marker at 9 p.m. live. We're gonna break down this game. We're gonna go back and watch it again. We're all gonna suffer through Cam Newton's injuries, and you're gonna jump in the show and call the Cat Calls line. The number is 252-228-5098. We'd like to thank everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Look, smash the thumbs up button. Give us a like. It's free for you. And if you're crazy and feeling frisky, you can buy a Cam Wow or I Stand with Cam t-shirt or something like that, or donate to us on Patreon. Cody Lashney, I know you like to talk football on Twitter. You like to yell at them people about Cam Newton's. Where can they find you, sir?
At Cody Lax, CODYLAC on Twitter. Hit me up. I try and reply to everybody. I'll talk about whatever you want to. I am also the Panthers analyst now at drafttech.com. So every other Tuesday, so not today, but next Tuesday, there will be a brand new draft with the brand new draft order put in. So be on the lookout for that. That's draftek.com. Check it out.
Josh, first of many, I hope, appearances on the C3 Panthers podcast. Where can they find you until the next one?
Oh, me? Well, I don't really use too much social media. I'm on Facebook. Search
Way
for,
to go, Michael Jones, coming in with a $10 donation to the show. Thank you.
And but yeah, no, Panther fans and football fans in general, more than welcome to have me on Facebook. Glad to chat with anybody about any aspect of the game, any team even. I mean, I think I said it before on one of my cat calls I called in on. I love the Panthers, they're my team, but I watch all the football I can get my eyeballs on. So, just Joshua Ranchoy on Facebook, and look forward to chatting with you guys and anybody else, really.
Man, fantastic.
Yeah, shout out to Josh, man. His first night on the show, this somber-ass, depressing show where we're talking about the future of the Panthers, and Josh hits it out of the park, man. Thanks for joining us tonight, dude.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Tremendous. Thank you so much. Michael Jones coming in with a $10 donation to the show. Thank you so much in the super chat. Bubba Pacha says, Josh from Mass, great job on your first time here. A lot of good things here. Look, the Panthers defense really looked good tonight, or better.
Yeah.
If we had a pass rush, if we had a pass rush, it's like a Christmas song, and we're gonna figure that out tomorrow. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. Be sure to go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com to check out this podcast and other things that we put out. And subscribe, share, whatever you do, and we'll see you tomorrow or today, actually.
Later today.
Subscribe to the C3 Carolina Panthers podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, or anywhere you can catch an RSS feed. Check out CarolinaCatChronicles.com for the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective.
Great cash, homie.
Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code Hawkeye and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and the best daily promotions in the business. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matters more than ever. Place your money line, prop, and parlay bets with the king of sportsbooks today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. BetMGM.com for T's and C's. 21 plus to wager. Iowa only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.